Hello, I'm James Stewart, Sheriff of Anoka County, and welcome back to the Sheriff Show. On this episode, we will learn about the emerging field of e-forensics, and we will talk about bus safety for the upcoming school year with Laura Landis, and Scott Ford will share about the Tri-County Regional Forensics Laboratory and its recent international accreditation. The Sheriff Show starts right after this. E-forensics is a developing field within the criminal justice industry. With new emerging technology also comes the fact that criminals will use these pieces of technology to commit crimes or to store information that could attach a person to the criminal activity. Let's take a deeper look into the field of e-forensics with Detective Brian Hill.
Hi, I'm Detective Brian Hill. I work for the Anoka County Sheriff's Office as a Criminal Investigation Division detective. I am one of 3 computer forensic examiners and also one of 5 mobile phone forensic examiners within our office. Our job in e-forensics is to analyze computers that come into our office, and that involves us taking out the hard drives and looking at all the data that's on that specific hard drive, whether it's emails, chat logs, or internet history, or anything else pertinent to that case. We also take in mobile devices, which include cell phones or tablets. And on those devices, what we're looking for are going to be text messages, application data, depending on what apps that person may have downloaded on their device, looking at GPS location information to figure out where and when they might have been when they were sending different messages or accessing different applications. We also look at SD cards from mobile devices, which would include any digital pictures that may have been taken, and also looking at thumb drives, which can also contain important documents that may pertain to any particular case. Most recently, I was invited to Washington, D.C. to testify in front of the Subcommittee on Privacy Technology and the Law, specifically Senator Al Franken's bill on the Location Privacy Protection Act of 2014. I was asked to testify on behalf of law enforcement as an expert in digital forensics, talking about GPS stalking apps and how they are used by stalkers to track the movements of their victims. Specifically, usually an intimate partner stalking that involves a stalker accessing the victim's phone at some point and installing these apps on their phone, which allows them to track their email, text messages, GPS location, and even potentially listening in on their phone calls.
We recognize that we must be on the forefront of this technology in order to ensure that we can properly investigate crimes and seek justice for the citizens that we serve. We'll be right back with more of the Sheriff Show after this.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
Every school year, around 17,000 children are injured and 6 are killed in school bus crashes each year, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Let's talk with Laura Landis about what we can do as school gets underway in order to keep our kids safe when traveling to and from school.
My name is Laura Landis and I'm the Crime Prevention Coordinator for the Anoka County Sheriff's Office, and it's almost back to school time, so we wanted to talk to everyone about some bus stop safety. Kids are going to be out in the neighborhood gathering in the evening and in the morning to get to and from school. We want to remind residents to slow down in neighborhoods and really watch out for the kids. Kids are unpredictable, and as adults and drivers, it's our responsibility to keep a real good eye out for them. We also want to remind kids to stand at the bus stop and not to play in the road. We also want parents, if you happen to be home during that time of day, keep an eye out at the bus stop. Walk with your children. If you're seeing any problems or anything happening, please let the bus driver know or the school district or bus service know about the problems. You know, it's just better if everybody kind of keeps an eye out and makes sure that everything that's happening at the bus stop is what's supposed to be happening, and that it's safe and that kids are feeling safe and secure at the bus stop. And I want to give some tips for the kids out there listening. Make sure that you do what you're supposed to do. When you need to cross in front of the bus and at least 10 feet in front of the bus. When you're in line for the bus, no pushing, no shoving. When you're on the bus and the bus is moving, please remain seated in your seat. This, if everybody does everything they're supposed to do, this will make your trip to school so much safer. And we want everybody to have a fabulous and safe school year. We'll be right back with more of the Sheriff Show.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Forensics is a very important part of criminal apprehension for our Sheriff's Office. Together, the counties of Wright, Sherburne, and Anoka share the services of the state-of-the-art forensics laboratory located at the Anoka County Sheriff's Office. Our regional forensics laboratory has recently received full international accreditation. Lab Director Scott Ford has more on the Tri-County Regional Forensics Lab and what went into receiving this accreditation.
My name is Scott Ford. I'm the new Laboratory Director for the Tri-County Regional Forensic Laboratory. Prior to becoming the Laboratory Director, I was a Quality Assurance Manager. As Quality Assurance Manager, my biggest duty was to get the laboratory through international accreditation. On July 10th, 2014, the laboratory achieved this international accreditation through ASCLD Lab. ASCLD Lab stands for American Society of Crime Laboratory Directors Laboratory Accreditation Board. Currently, there are roughly 350 international laboratories that are accredited by this body. This consists of satisfying roughly 400 or so standards and making sure that you're following the certain rules and regulations that are outlined by the ASCLD Lab Board. The accreditation standards and guidelines provide a rule and an outline and a guide for us to follow to remain unbiased and impartial. The accreditation guidelines dictate such things as how notes are taken, how evidence is moved around the laboratory, how reports are written, and what is contained within our reports. All of these things help to maintain an ethical and fully unbiased impartiality of the laboratory. The Tri-County Regional Forensic Laboratory provides services to Anoka County, Sherburne County, and Wright County, and provides services in the laboratory that consist of DNA, serology, drug chemistry, alcohol testing, and latent print analysis. In the legal community, there's also known as this CSI effect, which is kind of developed along the same timelines as when popularity of forensics has kind of gone up as well. A lot of that is due to the popularity of some of the TV shows. The CSI effect essentially is when the general public watches a television show and they watch it and they see that a crime is committed, the evidence is collected, it's analyzed, and the person is put in jail within an hour, there becomes a certain level of expectation upon real-life forensic scientists to emulate that same type of a program. When I was a bench-working scientist, I worked in the latent print section of the laboratory. And a lot of times when I testified in court, people were surprised when we talked about the frequency with which we would develop fingerprints on a certain piece of evidence. In the TV shows, such as CSI, almost always there's a fingerprint developed or a good piece of evidence to lead somebody to a certain suspect. When in fact, in reality, roughly we are only getting fingerprints on maybe 15 or 20% of the evidence that we process. And that's something that we have to spend a lot of time in court testifying to and explaining to the jury so they understand the real side of the forensic science community and that it's not as simple as it is on TV. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that the laboratory is here to help the communities of Sherburne, Anoka, and Wright to correctly exonerate or convict criminals when needed, and make sure that what we're doing is sound and just, and that we're following through on our commitment to those communities.
As you have seen, the process of being recognized internationally for accreditation is daunting. However, we knew we wanted to pursue this in order to ensure that our citizens always feel comfortable knowing that we will continue to always pursue the tradition of excellence that is ingrained into the Anoka County Sheriff's Office. Finally, as water levels have receded much around Anoka County and citizens are heading back onto the water, I'd like to remind everyone to stay safe and wear your life jackets. Also remember that boating under the influence is just like driving under the influence, so please have a designated driver. With your cooperation, our waters will stay safe all season long. Thank you for watching this episode of The Sheriff Show.